Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Ghosts and Spirits video. I promised I was going to start a whole new series here, and then right off the bat I was going to start off with picking one of your past suggestions here, from a recent one in fact. So I'm going to review some of your other suggestions in my new suggestions video throughout the week. But yes, let's go ahead and we'll start this one based on one of the past ones. This one is pretty fascinating in the sense that it's really short, there's not much information associated with it, but more importantly, B, here is for the first time, at least what I'm reading, a spirit of some sort that is more scared of us than we are of it. So by far that is a huge change than anything else that I've read before. In fact, I was just picturing when I was reading this information that we were dealing with a spirit that it's almost like in a cartoon of sorts. Like imagine a haunted house of some sort, and you have a guy in there just walking around it scared, and you have a ghost in there also walking around scared, and both of them meet just around the corner, see each other, and then start running away from each other as quickly as possible. That's exactly what I was picturing here with regards to this spirit. And it's a spirit that has a very unique name as well. So I hope I'm saying this correctly, but I think it goes by the name of Qiqirn, Qiqirn. Very, very hard name to state, but you're looking at a picture of it here. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about all the brief information associated with this spirit. So what is this Qiqirn? Well, you have to go into Inuit mythology to try to find more information associated with it. The Inuits, I've talked to them in some of my past videos, particularly some of the cryptids before. They're a race of indigenous people that still live around the Arctic areas, those very, very cold up north areas involving Canada, regions of Alaska, and then also Greenland. So absolutely very, very cold area. And it seems like that's why this creature looks the way it does. In fact, most of the renderings that you're looking at here depicted as a dog, but more on the lines of something having white skin or white fur. And this is because of, again, its area. This thing, it just looks like your average dog. It seems to be no other difference than that. Like it has the size of your average dog, it has the look of the average dog. I guess the only difference that is tied to it, other than the fact, of course, that it's a spirit, is that it has puffs of hair located around its feet, located around its ear, its mouth, and then also around its tail. So that's why some of the depictions you're looking at here will showcase that. But otherwise, either it has no fur at all throughout the rest of its body, or it has fur, but it's very small amount of fur, like very compact, very short tips of hair, in other words, around its fur. And then this thing, whatever it does, it seems to just follow people around located within those areas. That's mainly what it does. It seems like it can follow them for a long time period too. Nothing necessarily malicious about it. The only thing it can do, though, that seems to cause some kind of hindering effect on people is if it gets close by to anybody, you'll know it, because then you'll start to suffer what's considered fits. That's where you'll start to get nervous, you'll start to get frightful, you may even go into some form of seizure, some form of compulsion. On the more dramatic side, your body will start shaking, not from the cold, but from the presence of this thing. And that's when you'll know that this thing is around this Qiqirn. And then this creature, I guess, if it absolutely does enough harm, let's say it finds someone that's traveling at night around those areas, and it keeps its distance, not enough to necessarily be noticed, but at the same time enough to cause those fits, then this creature can be known, I guess, on an extremely end, a far end, be able to cause this person to go crazy enough to just get lost out there in the wilderness and then essentially die. Although there was something describing that this thing can apparently attack people as well, but that's it. Like there was just one mention of it, nothing else in terms of this thing attacking people. It just seems to latch on, almost like, as crazy as it sounds, like it wants to feed off of that fear, because it does have like that almost emaciated look to it. So who knows, maybe it does feed off of the fear that it causes in people, as long as it doesn't notice, as long as they don't notice it. And the reason for it is this, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, when this creature actually does have somebody notice it, like let's say you turn around and boom, there it is, this thing will apparently be so scared of yourself that it'll just run away as quickly as possible. It has no other defense. It doesn't attack at that moment per se. No, instead it just absolutely just runs the hell out of there, almost as terrified as it is of yourself as you are of it. It is very easily scared away, in other words. Another way to make sure that this creature, if you feel its presence around you, again, if you're having those fits, you don't necessarily have to see it in person. All you have to do is just shout out its name several times, and then it knows that its presence has been found, and it'll just run away scared as well. So those are the ways to essentially defeat, quote unquote, defeat this creature if you do come across it within those Inuit regions. The only other information really to share about this creature is that it still has some, I guess, entries within popular culture. For example, there's that book, The Second Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling, who of course made the first Jungle Book story itself. In it, there's a chapter or section dedicated to some young Inuit hunters who come across something that they believe is a Qiqirn, and so they consider it a spirit of some sort that's leading them to a place where they can now be well fed, because otherwise they were starving at that point from wherever they were traveling. And so that was one depiction of the Qiqirn there. And then also for you Final Fantasy fans, apparently in Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy 14, I believe, there are some creatures of some sort there that are also known as the Qiqirn, which we're looking at some pictures of here, and they also somewhat resemble these Qiqirn depictions from before, except in this case they're more rat-like than anything dog-related, but they do have a presence within the Final Fantasy world. They also seem to share something with the notion of the Inuit mythology of the Qiqirn, in that if your character within that set of games actually comes into contact with these creatures, then it'll cause apparently the status effect amnesia. Not exactly sure what that means within the game, because I've never played any of the Final Fantasy games, but those of you that are Final Fantasy fans, no doubt this will just ring in your head on what that means. But yes, these creatures are supposed to cause that effect, and it will allow that character to then run away afterwards. So, but that's it. That's all the information tied to this spirit, this Qiqirn. Again, a very notable spirit in the sense that it is more scared of us than we are of it. So, very interesting set of information. If anyone has anything else they'd like to share, anybody from that area that knows more about the mythologies tied to this creature, that would be really interesting to hear too. So, alright everybody, thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.